Thamesdown Transport has been providing public transport in the Swindon area for the last century. Now today we're used to travelling in the warm and can even check our emails with the onboard Wi-Fi. But it's not always been like this. In the early 1900s, over 85,000 people a week travelled to work on a network of trams, many of them open-topped. This is the story of Swindon Trams. We begin here at Bruce Street, and to guide us through our story, I'm joined by local historian and editor of Swindon Heritage, Graham Carter. So Graham, tell me, what's the significance of the bridges in Bruce Street behind us here?
Well, this part of Rodbourne, this is where the tram came to. It was one of the ends of the line. The network had 3 lines to it. You could travel all the way from Rodbourne through town, right up to Old Town, when it opened in 1904. And in those days, Rodbourne was quite new. We think of it as an old part of town now, but a lot of the buildings would have been new then, and the trams were new as well.
And of course, the bridges behind us are new bridges.
That's a new bridge there, yeah, and there was a smaller bridge there before, and actually the tram wouldn't fit through there, which is probably why they sent it up the road up here.
So Graham, we're now at an area which has actually changed very, very little. It's the underpass by what used to be the pattern store. It really is very, very similar to the picture.
It's almost the same. It's only the footbridge across that's really changed, apart from the fact there's no railway workers now, unfortunately. But those they would come to work. The tram started running at 5:30 in the morning, and they had covers on the seats because they were so dirty. The workers, they would have ruined the seats.
And it's amazing to see all these people going off to work, walking down this road. Well, we're now going to go to a place where I know there's another connection between the two. This is Transfer Bridges, which is between Cricklade Road and County Road. And Graham, this is one of the rare places where you still see evidence of the trams, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say it's an obvious thing, but a lot of people probably come through and don't realise why that bridge is like it is. The pavements are raised up, and the road as was, which is now a cycle path, is lower down. And that's because when they built the tram network, they had to go through the bridge, but they wouldn't fit underneath because they were double deckers, so they had to lower the road.
Amazing. And actually, I believe passengers would have been coming from Gorse Hill and would have been heading in this direction. Where would they have been heading to? Where's the next place?
Well, the route takes you through the bridge into the town centre.
So Graham, this really was the hub of the Swindon Tram network where 3 different routes converged. How did it affect the social life of the town?
Yeah, it was quite important, I think, because this was called the tram centre, and older people in Swindon still call it the centre, actually. And we've seen how the trams took people to work, but they also brought them from Rodbourne and Gorse Hill into the town centre and up into Old Town. It's the age of the cinema. There's a new theatre in Swindon, so it's quite important to bring people in. Swindon had this heyday, and the 1920s was a good time to work for the GWR. A lot of things going on in Swindon. The brave new world of electricity and cinema and radio. So it must have been an exciting time.
And was the tram accessible to everybody? Was it affordable for everybody?
Yeah, I think so. The workers paid a reduced rate to get to work, and and it was very well used, so they must have been able to afford it.
In 1906, Swindon experienced a transport tragedy. This is the spot of the tram disaster in which 5 people sadly lost their lives. Graham, what happened?
Must have been a terrible scene, actually. There was a tram full of people. They were coming from the Bath and West show, which was being held in Swindon that year. And the tram coming down Victoria Hill, there was a problem with the brakes. The driver was seen to be trying to engage the brake. When it got to the bottom of the hill, hit the corner, it turned over and 5 people were killed.
So it must have had quite a devastating effect on the town as well.
It did, actually, and also a monetary effect as well, because they weren't insured, the council weren't insured,
Wow.
and they had to put a penny on the rates to pay for the compensation. Well, Alfred Manners, who was the manager of the Empire Theatre, which stood where the Dolce Vita restaurant is now, he witnessed it all, and he actually gave evidence in the inquiry.
And I presume that was a really important part of the process.
Yeah, he saw the whole thing. He was stood outside the theatre and heard the commotion as it came down, saw everything.
This was the old corn exchange. I understand this is where the trams all terminated.
Yeah, just here. It was the end of the journey of bringing people up from the town centre, and they would have been coming to this building, a lot of them, because it was called the Rink. They would have known it as the Rink, which was roller skating to begin with, and then later on a cinema.
So of course it's very important that the trams were used not only for work but also for the leisure side for the residents of Swindon.
And it brought the two towns together, because actually before the tram age, really Swindon was two different towns. New Swindon down at the bottom of the hill and old Swindon at the top. And the trams, you could travel between the two parts of town.
So Graham, why did the trams stop running?
In a word, buses. Buses were coming in, the trams were high maintenance, and buses obviously much more efficient.
So is that it?
I don't think so. I've got this feeling that the age of the tram is still to come. That was just a hint of things, better things in the future.
Well, Graham, thank you very much indeed for taking us on this incredibly important journey. We really appreciate it. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe we will see trams on the streets of Swindon again.